Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to be working on the S10. Got a shifter to pull and a transmission cross member, and next the motor or engine, sorry. And please remember, subscribe to the channel, like all of our posts. Also check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, set back up. Need to remove the old crying pumpkin here. This is going to be my victory hang out the window. There's a little tear ready to shed it for me. Hold the old pumpkin head out the window, cry me a river, build me a bridge, and get over it. Okay, here removing the shifter. First I need to remove the reverse lever knob, then the shifter knob, and I'll snake all this rubber that I've got. I had to cut the hole out substantially from what it was originally due to this Mr. Gasket shifter being connected directly to the transmission, being spaced out enough and correctly and able to, or to be able to have everything where it needs to be as far as linkages, so forth. Get this plate out of here. Normally I would take the center console up, but being that I've got this hole widened out enough that I really don't need to. So just slide my little patchwork out here. License plates, you know, come in handy a lot. I have a gigantic hole. Obviously where the shifter was, I had to cover that up in the stock location. Then I had to come, I'd say, almost 6 inches over to the side of where the shifter originally was. Come in a little closer so you can get a better view of it here. Huge hole, monstrous hole. So definitely needed to, when I redo the truck, I will be completely redoing everything. Yeah, there's the monstrous hole. Hello. And patching that in correctly like it is supposed to be. There we go. Alright, back under the truck. Need to take the bolts off for the shifter linkages that go to the transmission. Drop them and pull the reverse one off. stubbing thing. And then I'll slide it up, just to get it up out of the way for now. I'll go ahead and put the bolts back on. Had a throwout bearing leaking for a little while, so it coated everything up under here with brake fluid, so that was nice. I need to power wash everything off of there. Okay. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Stay on here. Good dirty rats. Try to design everything so I wouldn't have to jack the motor up and do everything else to make repairs to it or quick changes to the transmission or whatever. I did have the exhaust fully welded before, and it made for a few tight situations, and I wouldn't have been able to get the transmission out quickly with the exhaust in, that was for sure. Okay, those are off. Next I'm going to pull the shifter completely out, then the transmission will drop next. I did not do it this time. Drop shifter down. And out. It's a Mr. Gasket Vertigate shifter. No side to side movement. It's all straight forward. Push the lever to go into first. Push the lever forward to go into first. Slam it back into second. Slam it up into third forward. And slam it back into fourth. I cannot wait to get to the drag strip with this thing, because I got a feeling it's going to pull some really good times. In conjunction with my triple disc clutch that's making everything super light, I think it's going to be a good combination. A lot of guys run the big heavy clutches and whatnot to get torque off the line, but I believe in this light truck it's going to be a good combination, but we'll see. I guess only time will tell, and a trip to the drag strip will tell. Okay, next, the 4 bolts for the transmission, and pull the transmission. I believe I'm going to stick this up in here. Hopefully it'll stay. Actually, I'm going to go up top and put a little rod through it so it will stay up out of my way. Stuff usually just comes right apart. I think these have been in and out enough that threads are starting to get galded up, so they don't want to come out my hand. So I think I'll throw a new set of bolts in it when it goes back together. Ting. And as you can see, that little bitty clutch in there. Bring you a little closer to it so you can really see what's going on. Triple disc clutch, bolted to an automatic transmission flywheel. Makes for the very quick RPMs that I'm able to do. Okay, grab a jack stand, set it underneath the back of here. And just lift the motor up, transmission up just a little bit. The reason I put the jack stand at the back is I want to put everything back in a bind in the middle as far as weight. That way I can take all the bolts out all at once and not have to worry about it separating and dropping down due to the inner ring around the bell housing, or going into the bell housing, I'm sorry. Also, if you're an S10 enthusiast, be sure to check out my Facebook page, S10 Muscle. Just released some stickers for the group. Called the Flex Tie. They're available for purchase. All the bolts are out. Make sure nothing's going to bind up. I'm going to reposition myself so I can get underneath the transmission and pull it out. And it's just flex time. Yeah, we just pulled the whole center completely out, but it come out. Got a little bit of rust that built up on it from my fluid leakage. So that's what was binding it up. Next I'll be removing the bell housing bolts. Get the bell housing off. Since I have my hydraulic throwout bearing routed through it, I put it on a flexible line like this so it'd make it a lot easier of bleeding. I could actually pull the unit out, gravity bleed it, and then stick it back in, and I can gravity bleed it and see through the line and see the air bubbles in the line and know when all the air bubbles are out. Just remove all the bell housing bolts. Okay, all the bolts have been removed for the bell housing. Pull this down. Now that I have that off, it gives us a chance to get a real good look at the triple disc clutch I've got set up in this. Mainly dirt track. I don't know, never heard of anyone using them for drag racing, but this is not a full purpose drag racer, so wasn't really the full intention of the most amount of weight so I can get the most amount of torque in the drive line. I wanted to shave weight so I can have quicker RPMs. Next will be pulling starter, my water pump, radiator, pull the engine. On closer inspection of everything, once I got everything apart, I was taking the bolts off for the starter wires and noticed this serious discoloration down below. Well, the whole bottom of my header was not sealing whatsoever. Then I look farther and my headers, the front tube wraps, front tube wraps down on the bottom. Well, it was hitting on my motor mounts that I'd made. You can see here, all carbon. So this thing wasn't sealing except for just a little bit on the back. It was letting just a little bit out. But that's no good. So I'm glad I was coming back apart with it. If I would have run with it like that, it would not have been good. Okay. I've already taken all the clamps off the lower hose. Position my drip pan. Make sure, can't remember if I drained it or not. I must have. Just what's left in the radiator. Okay, get the most of that out of there. I run a single belt on here, so I'm just going to pull the bolts off.
Nothing?
take a little bit of pressure off. Bump. That's good. Get all the bolts out. This way.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think you just went in the shot.
Huh?